Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation show. I'm gonna try to make this real quick, and I'm gonna try to make it real simple. I hope y'all can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah, I'm looking at my volume button on here, so I know y'all can hear me talking. But anyway, I'm down at the office, 1600 Bush Street, right? Uh, this is a recovery program, a mental health program, and helping people getting their lives together. Now, y'all know the name of my stuff is strengthening the community. Rebuilding a new Baltimore is what my mission, my passion, and my love is all about. It's helping our less fortunate people, our most vulnerable people, like regain a life, stand back on their feet, and to become productive people or members in society. Um, a lot of stuff I talk about, y'all, as far as what our I'm gonna say violent criminal behaviors, our violent criminals, and the people that feel as though it's okay to go around and killing their own people. You know, my goal is talking with them, trying to help reduce the violent criminal behaviors and the homicide rate. Now, what tends to happen when I share that with other people, a lot of people have doubts. They feel like things is not going to change. And I'm telling y'all, it disappoints me when people come back at me like that, like people won't change. And the thing with that, why I'm saying that, y'all, because when I look at the life I used to live, right? And I was a big, evil, nasty dude. So when I look back over my life and I look at how God brought me away from that type of lifestyle, I feel like other people can change too. I know you might you gonna have to want to change, right? And to me, it's like encouraging people. We need to encourage our people that wants to turn their lives around. But so many people have a tendency when I'm saying stuff, they be like, good luck. I don't think they're gonna change. I don't think they're gonna do this. I don't think they're gonna do that. Now, mind you, I understand all of that. But don't tell me that. Because I will look back at my life, and because of where I'm at in life and how God turned my life around, right? I feel like he can do that with anybody. So my goal is not to give up on people. So anytime you want to say little stupid stuff like that, right? Like they ain't gonna change, they don't want to change, blah blah this and that. The subscriber you have come on is not in service. She just called my phone. I'm trying to call her, let her know. She got two goddamn phones. I'm trying to hang up. Message NY2. Okay. I was trying to call my daughter so she won't call me back. Well, the whole key, keep in mind, I try to deal with people that actually want to change their life. If you want to stay still in that destructive form or area of your life, that's fine. That's fine. Because for me, it helped me to understand it's only two things that come from that lifestyle when I used to live like that. Either somebody was going to end up killing me, or I was going to spend the rest of my life in jail. So somebody was going to end up killing me, or I was going to end up killing somebody else and spend the rest of my life in jail. I don't like prison. I look at central booking, right? I call central booking the penitentiary, but that's me because I never spent time like some people might have spent 5 years, 10 years, 20 years in prison. So they know the prison language, they know the mentality. To me, I feel like the only person or the only thing that need to be behind bars are wild animals. And be honest with you, when you look at the tigers, lions, bears, and gorillas or whatever, too, they behind bars, and these are dangerous animals. So basically, that's what they saying about you. When you go out there and you break the law and you behind bars, you are just as evil and nasty and dangerous as the lions, tigers, and bears. In no way in the world, as a man, I want you to consider me as an animal. I ain't no animal. And you will not come at me like that. Like I'm some bum or some animal, off the streets. So I'm a man. I'm a responsible man. I'm a productive man. And yes, when I was living like that, I was one of the craziest dudes you ever want to come up to. I had no problem in taking you down. My brothers always taught me never let your right hand know what your left hand doing. So Steve, if you're gonna do something, go do it, bro. And don't, it's like I can't warn you. I ain't gonna threaten you. I ain't gonna threaten you. Because where I come from, right? If you're gonna do something, make sure you do it by yourself. Don't leave no witness around like people with you that can tell on you. This is stuff I learned. It's not misinformation, but this is stuff I learned. But there's stuff that I had to learn to let go as I begin to grow. And I thank God, right? Now, if you hear me say words like delivered or turned away or repent, stuff like that, right? I'm only talking about a daily reprieve just for the day. Just for the day. Now, mind you, some things I done got some clean time in certain areas where I have not done certain things in a little over 29 years. So what I do, right? Whoever I'm talking to, I will actually carry you through a process of how people worked with me to change my old ways of thinking, to change people, places, and things that I used to like doing that kept me stuck. So I had to learn to change my old ways of thinking. I have to learn to change people, places, and things. Most of all, my family. And that was kind of tough because I got high with a lot of my family members. And basically, they was the only ones I got high with. So to be honest with you, I had to get away from them. It was about saving my life. I was asked to come and do a Zoom. Now, I give you personal experience, and the goal is to walk you through a process to help you come out of whatever you're dealing with. And prayerfully, a day at a time, you won't continue repeating those irresponsible or sick habits. When I deal with people that I had to talk to with today, my whole goal was sharing how I was able to gain a relationship back with myself. It wasn't all about outside. I had to be honest with myself. I had to learn to have faith back in myself. I had to learn to trust back in me. So check this out. Any relationship, and it starts with communication, but any relationship, it's about being honest, it's about being faithful, and it's about being true. Now, that's to your mate or whoever you're dealing with, right? But if you don't have them things in you, you won't really know how to do that because you'll do things that go against everything it is for you to show love and compassion to your mate. So guess what? I had to learn once again to build a relationship with Steve Copeland. And because I was able to learn how to love, learn how to be more compassionate now, learn how to be more intimate now. You know what I mean? Um, I'm not full of anger, fear, and resentment. All that stuff I had to let go because I had to open up. Become like the cream puff, I like to say sometimes, right? I had to become open. But I had to believe all of that in me first. So my goal when you come to me is to help you build a relationship with yourself first. To help you learn how to love yourself. Because once you know how to love yourself, you only give back to other people what you want for yourself. And it's already there. A lot of people was never taught how to love. A lot of people was never taught how to feel. And it's okay if you hurt. It's okay if you angry. It's okay if you depressed. It's okay if you feel jealous about something. It's okay to feel those things because that's what they are. But my goal with all of that, just try not to act out in a destructive way that will get you put away when you could have practiced some self-control and self-discipline. I was sharing with the guys earlier, right? We was on the Zoom. And I love that word addiction, right? I don't have a problem with telling people I'm an addict. I'm an addict, right? And the reason why I'm saying that, because I have an addictive personality. I can't do one of nothing. And I gotta be honest with me, right? Like I might go to the store, buy my little Diet Pepsi. Y'all know I'm in with my Pepsis, right? But the Diet Pepsi to me is fine. I might get a cake. And be honest with you, I might buy 3 of them. The goal is to eat one and save one for later. 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna eat all 3. So sometimes I had to tell myself when I go to the store, don't get no cakes, don't get no cookies, because I'm a diabetic. So I have to tell myself no sometimes. All right, you do this today. Don't do it to like don't keep doing it. So basically now, come on, I'm talking to Steve. That's the self-inventory I learned to do. To tell myself, no, you can't have this, you can't have that. It's okay to go to McDonald's and get a burger, but you don't have to get 2 or 3. It's okay to go to Popeyes or something like that and get some chicken. You can get you a 3-piece because I like thighs and leg. I do thighs mostly, but you can get you a 2 or 3-piece because I used to get about 10, and I would eat them all myself. So you understand what I'm trying to say? All of this, I had to start practicing some self-control and discipline. I had to start telling myself no. My friend just asked me, he said, man, how did you lose that weight? I said, one, I'm going to tell you right now, I stopped eating after 8 o'clock at one point. And I noticed the weight was coming off. Now, I used to eat stuff like Hug Mugs, Chillins, and all this type of stuff because that's what we basically grew up on. I stopped cooking all that type of stuff. So if I fry some chicken, I know what I'm putting in there. I know what my chicken is in, the type of vegetable oil. So I'm comfortable with that. So when I cook my own food, I can't cook a lot of times like our parents taught us. Making macaroni and cheese from scratch and all that type of stuff. So now when I cook, I can't add a lot of the margarine or butter. I like to add flavor, just the flavor. Not overdo it with a little salt, pepper, stuff like that, but just give you a flavor. And then if you want to add the rest to it, like salt, pepper on your little stuff, you can. You can. So I learned to cook just flavored and let you add the rest if you choose to add the rest. So when I was living by myself, I baked a lot of my food, like chicken, fish, Then I would eat. I had cut out vegetables for a real long time. I mean, not vegetables, I'm sorry, like starch. But as a diabetic too, I learned you can basically eat whatever you want, but you just can't like eat a lot. You have to eat a measurable amount. And some of this I learned from throughout the years, the dietitian and all of that. So my doctor want me to get back with the dietitian, right? So that she once again can put me on something structured on how to eat. And mind y'all, I've been a diabetic for 30 something years. And I might pronounce the name wrong, but I take Trulicity. That kind of takes away my appetite. So I was telling my doctor a lot of times, I only eat once a day. And it's not good because I'm not feeding my organs the way I need to. But to me, it cures the appetite and I don't put all that on it. So now it's going to get to a point where I have to break my meals down once again. So I got to start fixing stuff and putting them in smaller containers where I could like eat a small amount, like 6 times a day. And to me, that's too much. But when you spread it out like that and just eating a small amount, supposed to level and balance out your sugar and stuff like that. So I've been doing it for 30 something years. And what I was telling my doctor when I went to see him, the medication y'all have me on, it ain't me because I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But to me, the medication that y'all have me on is not doing what it's supposed to do. So they might have to up the dose. They might have to do something to help me get my A1C down. Because one, if you're trying to get me on a diet, my thing is with the Trulicity, I normally won't eat until I'm hungry. So I can go all day and I won't eat. And that's not good. So now I got to do this. Now, I wouldn't tell everybody to do what I do because I've been a diabetic for years. So it's like I'm kind of programmed to certain things. But I wouldn't tell you to do what I do. But if it comes to like the weight loss part of it, I can tell you what I did and the stuff that I started staying away from for the weight to start dropping. That's all it is. And when I stepped on the scale, I was like 230, which is to me, it's not bad because I'm kind of bigger up here. And as I go down, I get smaller. So my legs are small and stuff, right? And my kids be like, Daddy, don't lose no more weight because you looking skinny. I'm 6'1". Then I come from a size 46 pants to a 36 pants. So my thing is, what else y'all want me to do? I don't want to make my life miserable. I don't go to McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, and stuff like that like I used to. But once in a while, I will go. If I got a taste for a hamburger or something like that, I'll go. Because that's like just treating myself, because it's not a habit where every day I go to McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's. And if I feel like I want like some fried chicken, I love Rural Farm chicken, and I love Popeye's chicken and biscuit. So I don't make it a habit. And then if I got a taste for certain things, I buy it and fix it myself. And I feel even much better. So I'm just sharing that for just part of the discipline in life, the self-control in life, telling myself no. And what I admire, we have a lot of people stuff is real plain and simple for you. You might be going through something in life, and you just make the decision not to do it again or live that way. You just made the decision. You didn't have to go through a process. And that's beautiful. Don't ever get it wrong. That's beautiful. But for a lot of us, it's a process for us to get there. Like we had to surrender. We might struggle with the surrendering. We might stop today, tomorrow, a couple of more days, but then we'll find ourselves picking it back up, say like on that third or fourth day. Then we might end up leaving it alone again for like another week or two, and we'll find ourselves grabbing it again. So that's the part of breaking and letting it go to get the strength. Like some people can just keep it simple. I just stopped doing it. And then when you look back at all of that you worked through to get there, now you can sit back and say, I just stopped doing it. But it's a process with us. So sometimes we have to share that process. That's why when I said, I love that word addiction, because I understand I have an addicted personality, and that's just being true to me. And a lot of people know me that knows my story. Anytime I'm caught up with a female, now mind y'all, I always been married, so I'm outside the marriage now. Anytime I talk about one female I'm caught up with, 9 times out of 10, it's 5. So now you know what I got to do. I got to start the process of surrendering. I have to get to the point where I won't call them no more. So I don't know your number by heart, so I'll delete it, right? So I won't end up calling you. Then I got to stop going around you. Because if I can't call you, I'm going to come see you. So now I'm talking about breaking away from a process. So I had to little by little learn to back up. Tell myself no again. Get away from them. And it took a little time. Maybe you said a couple of months, might be a year. I'm just using those as examples now, where it gets to the point that I completely cut it off. And then you have people who can actually, they see they struggling in certain areas in their life, and they just have that strong willpower to just leave it alone. And I admire that, because it's a lot of people I run across that just do that. But when you have an addicted personality, it don't work like that with us. It don't work like that, because we have a process of working ourselves out of certain situations, and not just working out of it, being able to stay out of it, and not to beat yourself up if you find yourself struggling with certain areas. It's a lot of people that I sponsored throughout the years. Now, mind you, I'm coming up on 30 years. So I got brothers that I sponsored and females that might have, I'm coming up on, well, I have 29. They might have 28, 27. A lot of them don't come to the meetings no more. And it's okay, because they got clean. They understood what the drugs or whatever was doing to their lives, so they just don't touch it no more. They begin to live a more freely productive lifestyle. And most of the people that I sponsored, I tell them stuff like this: never forget where you come from. And I'm talking about like the NA meetings, right? You might not come all the time, but sometimes show up to get around people who's just like you. And when I come around you, right, if I haven't been around you in a while, and I come to like my church, or I go to an NA meeting or something like that, I'm just trying to feel the spirit of the people that I'm around. So I come back, it's like to get rejuvenalized. So if I come to a meeting and I know I've been out here fighting this war, the goal is to come in and get around people just like me, so I can feel your spirit. That's like the body of Christ. You got me? That's the body. So I come around you. I hug people, talk with people. But guess what? I ain't trying to raise my hand and talk about this, talk about that. I need to feel the spirit of the crowd. When I go to the church around my church members, because I might been out the church for a month or two, running around trying to help in the streets. When I come in, it's not about me getting on the men's choir. It's not about me like ushering or playing that part of a deacon. That's not where I'm at. I come in to fill the body, the spirit, the connection with the people, with God-fearing people. I'm not a Bible thumping dude like I was early on, but I will. I have no problem sharing my story. I have no problem telling you how God delivered me from certain things, right? Or how I repented and turned away from whatever destructive stuff I was doing to myself. So when I look at the word sin, ooh, shucks, my son told me don't forget about. But look, when I look at the word sin, the sin, and that's just obedience towards God. Y'all want to add a lot of other stuff to it. But anytime you understand the truth and you go against it, that meant you rebelled against. And I'm talking about on a spiritual, in a spiritual way. You rebelled against God. If God tell me don't do something from what I learned through scripture, and I'm practicing or doing what I used to do because of the flesh, I'm just being disobedient to God. So the whole thing with me is, as a child of God, I have to ask for forgiveness and do my best and moving away from that. That's the type of stuff I try to do as a Christian man, as a follower of Christ, as a lover of Christ. And another thing I started understanding too, I don't care if Jesus was black. I don't care if Jesus was white. I don't care if he was Hispanic. I don't care. I don't care. Because that's not what I focus on. My relationship is based on the love I begin to feel, the compassion I begin to feel, the kindness I begin to feel. So that's what it talks about, being like-minded. If you gain that connection with Christ, right, you will become this loving, caring, kind, considerate person. If you know the mission of Christ, when he came, he embraced the less fortunate people, the most vulnerable people. He didn't go at the righteous people. The righteous people was living right and doing everything they supposed to do. So those the ones he didn't go after. Those the ones we tend to shun to the side, turn our backs on. That don't make no sense. You need to do that, rather than looking at help them. And that's what I believe he had people to do, was to encourage and motivate the less fortunate. And that's what I do. I don't care what your lifestyle is. My thing is find peace within yourself. A lot of people don't like the fact that I'm 60, right? And I normally date females half my age. You need to mess with somebody close to your age. No, I don't. I find this more desirable, attractive. It's like I'm not detached from life. If I see a very attractive or beautiful woman and it turns me on, I'm like, ooh. But that don't mean I have to go try to get her. Because if we don't feel that attraction the same way, no, I'm not coming for you. I'm not going to come at you. So most of the women that or females, because some, like I said, a little bit younger, but most of the females I deal with, it's the attraction that I see. It's the look I see first, the physical. And God knows the body. You gotta have a beautiful body. Now this is where my mind goes. So I'm real picky when it comes to females. Because I know what I want today. I know what I like today. You don't have to like everything I do. Be your own individual. Some people be like, yeah, because I want the mate to like think like I do, live like I do, blah, 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 blah. Y'all are two different individuals. She got her own way of thinking and doing things. You have your own way of thinking and doing things. So basically, what you do, the two come together as one. God should already be in the mix, but it's the two different individuals, characteristics, personalities, might not like the same stuff with each other. But what you do, you learn to support your mate. Because we don't have to like the same things. She might be out with her girlfriends and they having a wonderful time. And she want to come back home and tell you the fun that she had. You need to listen. Don't do this right here. Well, what nigga tried to get in your face? Oh, you done just tore their story apart. Because you're not allowing them to share with you their experience when they was out with their girlfriends and they did certain things. So now I want to come home and share that with my husband. Or the wife, the husband want to come home and share that with the wife. He only sharing what he done like on the outside. And I didn't understand that till my pastor told me when we was in counseling. He said it takes the man and the woman because you got two different individuals, two different personalities. Sometimes y'all not going to agree with stuff. Y'all not going to like the same things. But the two shall become one. And that blew me away because I'm thinking it's the three with you, God, and them. But God should be there. But it's the two individuals, two different personalities that should become one. I was like, oh my God. So the reason why I'm saying it, because if your mate is out, trust that they're out doing the right things. You don't have to second guess. You don't have to question stuff. Trust and believe that they doing the right things. Don't worry yourself about where they at, who they with, blah, 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 blah. You're supposed to trust them. So guess what? I was always the cheater. I was always the cheater. So I didn't wonder when my wife was out, was she out there cheating? Because to me, I was always the one. So I never looked at her like that. And most of my wives didn't cheat, only had two. But they might have stepped out later because they felt like I wasn't showing them that love and affection and attention, and they wanted that. And they might have ended up meeting somebody and then stepped out. But I was always the cheater. So my wives, to me, was nothing like me when it came to cheating. And I understood if they stepped out. Because if I'm not showing you that love, affection, and attention, and somebody else come along and you step across that line, that's, I mean, because I'm not giving you what you need, so you looking for it in somebody else, be honest, that was my fault. Because I'm not catering to my girl or my wife. And it's like I pushed you somewhere else. See, I can admit to stuff like that today. Because whenever I heard it about something in my relationship, I stepped out. And most of the females that I would sleep with was around about 21. Because most of the females I met, like my wife, when I met her, she was about 21. I was 36. I'm 15 years older than her. So whenever I would hurt because of the marriage or whatever, me and her going through stuff, I would always go back to somebody about 21. Because I'm trying to recapture that essence of what I met in my wife. So I'll go back to somebody 21. Now, mind y'all, I ain't talk about a lot of this stuff in a long time. But when I open up my mouth, I already know somebody somewhere need to hear what I'm saying. I don't need you to come on my page and tell me you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't this and that, because my conversations, a lot of times, my experience and what I'm sharing is not for you. So if you don't feel me, it's okay. if you can't stay with me as far as what I'm talking about, it's okay. Because if you're just coming in, you might be saying, what the heck is he talking about? Because you didn't listen to me from the beginning. So you wasn't able to follow me as I went out and as I come back. So I don't do that to people like, what you talking about? What's going on? I try to catch as you talking or speaking. I try to catch whatever at that moment. But then to understand a lot of times when we do stuff, and it's not for you to get mad, right? Everything we share is not for everybody. So I know for a fact, whenever I open up my mouth, somebody somewhere need to hear what I'm saying. I might not never know who you is. And I'm only saying that because a lot of times when I've done stuff or talked about certain things, that's all I'm saying from being on the live. People might see me in the streets and say, man, thanks for that the other day. Because I just happened to come past you live and heard you talking about such and such and such and such. And it's like they got the answer. Because whenever I come on, I pray first. And I pray that God's will be done. I don't know who I'm reaching out to. But I'm going to tell y'all this, and I'm looking at the time slot. On Wednesdays, from about 5, if not 6:30, 6:15, the couch conversation. On Mondays, we're going to be doing Bobby Johnson and Tisha is going to be doing the Book Breakers. So a lot of the books that she had published for people, she helped write their life story or whatever, right? And she published their books and stuff for them. She's going to be talking about or with some of the people that she helped write their books and publish, and we'll have them explain why they did with certain little things. And I'm going to share this and I'm going to get ready to get off because it's like almost 40 minutes, right? But look, when I was younger, my mother taught me how to clean, cook, and all that type of stuff. So basically what I'm getting ready to say, when I was younger, I had to take on the responsibilities of adults. I got cards where my mother was on social service, but I got them in my name because I was like her payee, and now I'm young. So she coming out with a book about young children taking on the adult responsibilities. Now I'm wording it my way, but she said she know that book going to cause a lot of controversy. I said, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because we have so many young people who might have younger brothers and sisters and stuff like that, and their parents is not available to be the parent, maybe from alcohol, drugs, or their mental state or something like that. So that younger person has to step in as the adult, try to do adult things. And I told her, I said, yes, you will. Because I had to go back to my story of what my mother putting all those responsibilities on me. I remember riding back and forth like the Hagerstown, Jessup, on the buses in the vans to go see my brothers and stuff. As I got older, I said, I ain't, you get locked up, you get locked up. I ain't coming to see nobody no more, you know. But I remember running back and forth to like Jessup and Hagerstown because my mother couldn't make it. So I had to go see my brothers. I was young. I forget about a lot of that. But when she said what she said, and she said when she write that book, it's going to cause a lot of chaos and confusion. I say, yes, it is. Because that book is going to be based off of young people, children, taking on adult responsibilities. when they are just babies. So I had to look at myself when she said that, right? I said, you gonna cause a lot of chaos. Probably end up being the #1 bestseller. Because we don't address issues like that. Those are things that I love to talk about because we have a lot of young women, babies, I'm sorry, 13, 14, 15, maybe a little bit younger too, who actually have to do what they have to do to take care of their brothers and sisters because their mother or father not available. So we talking about maybe 11 or 12-year-old out there sleeping with older dudes just to get whatever they can to go back home and feed their family. And that's not their responsibility because somebody over top of them should be taking care of them. Those are the things, y'all. When I say stuff like, the couch conversation is about the truth and nothing but the truth. It's talking about a lot of life issues that people are dealing with or have dealt with, right? And they grown now. They older now. But a lot of that stuff, right, is like causing their life to be miserable in the here and now. My phone is going off with notifications like crazy. And guess what? It's a lot of us who went through that and we grown now. Rather than being open and understanding that, hey, these people dealing with such and such as I remember being there. Now it's to the point where a lot of us look back at people, well, that's their fault. They got to do this. And we down it. And that's not me. If you hurting about something, the goal is to help you face that monster. Learn to accept whatever happened in your past happened. Learn to forgive whatever happened in your past. You got to learn to forgive yourself for how you felt about the past in the here and now. Then you got to learn to forgive that person that did whatever they did to you. Some people say things like, because it sounds good, I can forgive, but I can't forget. Now, come on, I can forgive, but why am I still carrying hatred and bitterness around? Because I can't forget. The goal is to let it go. See how words sound good, but it's to let it go. Anything from your past, if it's causing you in the here and now to have a healthy relationship with yourself, you got to let it go because you don't want to bring it into the present. And that's what a lot of people do. They bring their past right in their new relationships. And that's what I try not to do. Whatever happened in my past is in my past. If it's haunting me today, right now, and if I'm steady thinking about stuff that happened when I was younger or, back in the days, and I can't like shoot it away, then maybe I need to go get some counseling to help me learn how to put that into the area where it needs to go. So I won't be carrying it now and making my life miserable and your life miserable in the here and now. That's why I do what I do. I already know how to do a fearless and moreless inventory on myself. Go inside of myself and look at those things that happened in my past that I'm running away from. Why I don't have peace today? Why I'm not happy, joyous, and free? Because I'm always staying in the past. So when you stay in the past, guess what? Guess what? That's why a lot of people are depressed because they steady living in their past trauma. So because of the here and now, and they not able to set that stuff free. That's why a lot of them feeling the pain that they feel, like depression, anxiety, hatred, bitterness, because they back in the past and they using that to try to live a healthy life in the here and now. It doesn't work like that. So you got to let it go. You got to learn to forgive and accept the fact that whatever happened in your past, because it's already done, you know, past. So you have to learn to accept and forgive whatever went on in your past, but you got to feel it inside. And most of all, y'all, in me saying that, I had to learn to forgive myself for stuff that I might say, well, I coulda, shoulda, woulda, did this, did that. I had to learn not to beat myself up for stuff that I couldn't control. You know, and a lot of people don't know how. That's why when you're dealing with me and you my client, and I feel like you might need to talk to a therapist or psychiatrist or someone to help you better cope with life, that's where I'm gonna guide you at. I'm gonna feed you as much as I can because I want you to open up. And if you open up to me and get honest with me, my whole goal is tell this to your therapist, tell this to your psychiatrist, tell this to your counselor, tell it to your PRP, because the whole goal is to free you from whatever damage went on in your past that you're still holding in the here and now. You got to free yourself. A lot of y'all seen my behavior from the Middle River. And I'm going to say this again, the Mayas are not racist. They not. They just white people that Vince had posted some stuff on his page that, about the black and white thing. You know how we do. But people took it as him being racist because of some of the statements that he made. Well, let me share this. When I deal with white people, and I had to tell this guy today, I said, when you hear me say stuff like my light skinned brother or this and that, please don't never take it in an offensive way. Because my goal is to throw you in. And it's mainly to help the black people, but I have no problem helping everybody when it comes to, Baltimore City and helping to turn your life around. That's my goal, to help, people out. So it's nothing racist about me. I do like to joke with the black and white thing, right? And because to me, we one family, but I do like to do that, right? So that's why I had to tell people whatever I say, don't take it in an offensive way, you know, because I love the kid and joke, mainly if I call you the N-word and you white, right? Because that's my way of joking and playing. And you might call me the honk or whatever, you know what I mean? I don't get mad with stuff like that. I don't get mad. I mean, I could have swore on my birth certificate it had the word Negro. And the reason why I'm saying that, because that word does not offend me, because it talks about a dark-skinned person, people. So why am I going to get mad? And mind you, that's my bull jump. That's me. You might have every reason in the world. Somebody posted something on Facebook about reparation. And they mixed it with the word, like the war on drugs, reparation for the war on drugs. And, I had to comment on it, right? You know, and I made a little comment, and a couple of people probably responded. I haven't looked back at it yet, but anyway, certain things I just don't get into. Why am I gonna sit here and make my life miserable for whatever happened to my ancestors. Some died so we may have life and have it more abundantly. My great-great-grandfather was a white man. And I'm looking at my great-great-grandfather, right? And he black as all outdoors. Then it dawned on me, because they worked in the sun. But my family living on his property. And his house is still there. So they built other houses around it because they couldn't touch it. It's historic. Why are you saying all of this? Because I'm able to look back over my life. And I'm just grateful. I was told that my great-great-grandmother, which is my great-grandfather's mother, lived in the slave owner's house. Somebody said, if your great-great-grandmother lived in that house with the master and his wife, they said she must have been a beautiful woman. And y'all know that's all I hold on to. Now, rather he forced her, raped her in that sense, no matter what he did, y'all talking to part of that result right now. Because her son produced my grandfather with his wife. And then my grandfather produced Barbara Jean and Mary and Robert Williams. So my mother and mother last name was Williams. And I started looking at it and I said, by right, even though we Copelands, that's my great grandfather's name. I said, we're Williams because we came from a Williams. It's no guarantee if White Copeland was really my mother and father. But that's my mother and father. You got me? So unless you do the type of work to find out the truth, like with DNA and all that type of stuff, you really, really won't know unless you take that route. But other than that, it was an honor. And my great-great-grandfather is on one of my sites behind my mother. So I wanted to put that up so I have a picture of him. I've been asking my cousin, her mother got a picture of my grandfather. Because my grandfather passed away when I was about 10. So I don't have a lot of memories of him. I used to mock the way he walked, but other than that, just to have a picture to look at him and say, oh yeah, I don't have one. So I love y'all. I'm down the office. Look at my little table. Look at my little table. Look at my little table. Look at the little table. I must have hit the button to click this off a little bit, y'all. But I was trying to show y'all my table. Ooh. Look. Now, somebody put this here. This is a sheet, and I'm thinking about taking it home to on it, right? And then bring it back and I'm going to take it home because I think they put it in here for me to put on the table. So I'm going to take it home, on it, and then I'm going to bring it back. I don't know if I'm going to put this black piece back on or if I'm just going to do the tablecloth with this one, the green one, because I like this. I like the way I have it anyway. I like the way I have it. But what I'm going to do with this too, I'm going to take this table, see the table where everything is at, and I'm going to put it back over on the other side. And then I'm going to take the table that we're going to broadcast from, and I'm going to turn it to this back of the wall. So that way we can order our, how did Barbie said it? It's like you have your own little poster thing in the back, right? That represents what your talk show and all that is all about. So because mine is called the Couch Conversation, she said actually you can get uh 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 dang it, I can't get that name out. That I can put up when I'm doing the couch conversation with a couch on it, basically. Like I'm sitting on the couch with y'all and we talking with y'all. So she said you can order from Vistaprint. I'm like, oh, that's right. So that's what I want to do, the backsplash. And that's why I want to turn it around. Y'all see where I'm at now. So my table is pointed like this, and sometimes the reflection from the light comes in and it sends like a glare. So that's why I'm looking at turning the table around. But I might just talk with the guy that actually owned the building that's in here, building program that's in here. And I might just talk with him to see can we just go in another room, and that would be our broadcast room. But if not, we can do it from my office space right here. And I'm telling y'all, man, we talking about some awesome programs. Talking about some awesome programs. So basically, near the end of the month, as we begin to meet together, talk together, and we're gonna plan this thing out, we're gonna carry it through. And then we're gonna prayfully we can do the team talk on Saturdays, around about 12 or 1. I don't know why I'm steady saying Saturday, but that's where my heart is at with that. But I got people that I want to deal with that basically will work with the youth. They have youth programs, and some of their youth will come down. And I want our youth to have a voice as far as being able to talk about where they at, how they feel. Let them express themselves, get stuff out. And once again, have someone with whatever topic we talk on, have somebody who been through the same things and they're able to share like how their life has turned around and what they're doing now. It's all about us feeding us in a more healthy and positive way. So whatever y'all might feel about Steve Copeland, because some of y'all scared when I come around, some of y'all like, shh, Tickle Steve, Tickle Steve, shh, Tickle Steve. And not really realizing it. I am who I am. A lot of people get offended and they watch what they say around me. Because they like, I don't want Steve to put me on the couch conversation and talk about what happened. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm getting ready to get out of here. You ain't hear me call you. Let me get off here, y'all. I love y'all. I had to step away. Is that? I thought you was giving me that. Do you need it? I don't know. Bye, y'all. Wait a minute. A client